They're at it once again. And if you watch their movements, it's very telling. Why is all this stuff happening all at the same time? You tell me that? This big push for integration of everything, AI, they want smart contracts everywhere. They're out openly talking about what they desire from the new financial system. Then you have something like this. Now, this article is from payments.com. It's titled, BIS outlines next steps to promote adoption of ISO 20022. Why now? Why this push? They're getting everything ready because, like they've said in a variety of ways, from a variety of different banking and large business representatives, the golden age of crypto is coming. They're letting the people know they need smart contracts. They've said that. They need the security of DLT. They've said that. They want the private sector to do all the heavy lifting and all the work. They've said that. I mean, you're hearing this from the U.S. government representatives. You're hearing it from the Fed. You're hearing it from the BIS all across the board. You just had MICA roll out, right, for in Europe, which, you know, we're keeping an eye on how that's progressing. But for certain institutions, it's progressing very well. You have all this activity in Australia. We had a lot of information come out of Latin America recently. All of this massive, massive push. You think that's for nothing? There's no way. No way it's for nothing. But let's read this little tidbit here. It says this. A Bank for International Settlements Committee has announced the next steps it will take to promote the adoption of its harmonized ISO 20022 data requirements for enhanced processing of cross-border payments. Once again, one of these big institutions. We covered this article here on the channel. All right. So people had a chance to screenshot it, read it for themselves, download it. I think it was the BIS. But if you type something in Google, something akin to the importance of ISO 20022, they were the ones talking about it, because I wanted to make that clear at that time. It was them. It was they who were saying this is important for cross-border payments, etc. And they were laying out all of the reasons why it was important. That's and when it comes to ISO, it's so controversial, at least it has been over the years. You have to make that clear that this is coming from them. This is serious business. All right. It's undeniable. Well, hey, listen, to each his own. You make up your own mind about that. Right now, let me continue on here. It says, quote, this announcement should provide clarity to the industry regarding the medium-term governance and maintenance of the harmonized data requirements during the period of global transition to ISO 20022 messaging standard, unquote, the BIS Committee of Payments on Payments and Market Infrastructure, CPMI, said in a Tuesday, January 7th press release, quote, these steps also provide impetus to industry-led efforts to develop ISO 20022 market practice guidelines for cross-border fast payments, unquote. Now, what I want to get to is this. Clearly, everything's in a rush because they're about to unleash DLT technology, crypto, hash graph, blockchain, whatever, etc. They know it's coming. They desire it. They need it. The only people that are not ready, in my humble opinion, are just regular people. They're not seeing what's coming because there's so many distractions. You and I both know this. There's many distractions, whether they're political, geopolitical. You have natural disasters all over the place. That's being highlighted. And yes, people can make the argument those have always been happening. But the point is, I think the substance of it is it's being promoted in the media more. So it's taking people's focus. All these different things that give people adrenaline spikes or fear or any of this stuff. It pulls their attention, right? And so it distracts them. So they're not looking at things like this. They don't have time to read things like this. You know, they're worried about their jobs. They're worried about their small businesses. What's going to be happening? There's transitions of power happening at this time. They're not paying attention to things like this. And so what's happening is the big businesses are setting themselves up. They're getting in position, right? They can do that. They don't have much to worry about. Not like regular people do, right? And so once again, what will happen if all the people are getting pushed out? You know, there's a little correction happening, a little dip happening now. There's, you know, some Fed stuff going on. So then the people sell, etc., which is a lot of the stuff is heavily, heavily oversold, right? I think we have some articles about that. Once it comes time and they snap those fingers and everything starts rushing up, It's going to go up much faster than people anticipate. A lot of people are going to get left behind. And these are the same people, first of all, not financial advice. It's just my thoughts. But a lot of people are going to get left behind. These are the same people that are going to they need a new car. They need a house. They need to pay their children's college tuition off, things like that, which a lot of people have done that already. But that's the select few that knew to play the game, get in early, get in low, right? Know what you hold, etc. Right. So I'm watching this game being played on the chessboard. And right now, the big businesses are playing it out perfectly. They're telling everybody out in the open what's coming. It says here, let's continue on here. It says the CPMI will maintain the harmonized ISO 20022 data requirements at least through the end of 2027, and to encourage global adoption of these requirements will establish a joint panel with members from the ISO 20022 global market practice groups and organize semi-annual meetings starting early this year, according to this release. So they're saying encourage, but really what's going to happen if you're not for cross-border payments and things like that and being a part of this system, make no mistake about it. This is how they're sort of trying to pull things together, even with a lack of true interoperability. You're going to get left behind. They said that in that last document. I'm paraphrasing, of course. They were much more eloquent than I am, but you're pretty much going to get left behind. So you're going to have to adopt these particular things. So I'm going to leave that one there. Let's move on here. We have a little bit of XRP news. So now this article here is titled Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin to list, quote unquote, imminently on more exchanges. We just had big news, and I told people for years this was coming, where all these bank coins, you were going to see them come together. I used to call it forming Voltron, but that might be a little bit dated because, that's from the old school. I don't know what a big robot that comes together, things are going to congeal. That's what I meant. And now you see it happening. You see, once again, I want to keep reiterating this. This is important. You see Ripple coming together with Chainlink. Ripple also came together with Hedera. Ripple also is coming together with Cardano. How many more? How many more? A lot of these are the top players in the game. There will be more congealing. There will be more partnerships. More of these bank coin companies will come together and work together. All right. They know that together they're stronger. If they're one a blade of bamboo, it breaks. If they're all these blades of bamboo together, they don't break so easily. They're very strong together. They know that. I know that was a very that wasn't the best way to say that, but you know that old ancient phrase. But here we go. Ripple president Monica Long added that XRP will likely receive its spot ETF approval, quote unquote, very soon. Everything is lining up. It's not just for XRP. Everything's lining up for all the utility coins across the board. People are going to have their minds blown. I'm convinced of it. You don't have to be. I'm convinced of it. And I'm just waiting and seeing. Of course, I adjust accordingly. If there's negative catalysts that come in and it's just like, oh, this is a crazy negative catalyst, of course, then I shouldn't continue on that line of belief. Then I'll be like, hey, listen, things are going to go down for a while. It's going to be a lot of blood in the markets. Maybe these things don't work out. But as of right now, that's not what's happening. Right now, everything is going very well, which makes sense. Life is like a pendulum. The pendulum swings equally to the left as it does to the right. According to a lot of ancient teachings, the negative comes precedent to the positive. We went through the negative. Years and years of crypto suffering. We were here. We stuck it out. Now the pendulum is swinging from that negative to the positive. I say enjoy the positive. Acknowledge the positive. While it's here, it won't last forever. So I don't know about you, but I like to enjoy things while they last. Now back to this. So it says in a January 7th interview with Bloomberg, Long confirmed that Ripple is actively pursuing additional exchange listings for RLUSD. Quote, we are continuing to expand distribution and availability of Ripple dollars on other exchanges. So I think you can expect to see more availability, more announcements coming soon. Imminently, unquote, Long said. She declined to provide specifics when asked about RLUSD listings on major platforms like Coinbase. It says RLUSD is available on Bitso, MoonPay, CoinMina, Bullish, Mercado Bitcoin, B2C2, KeyRock, Archax, independent reserve and JST Digital. According to Ripple website, Ripple launched RLUSD on December 17th as a stablecoin peg 1-to-1. That we know. I don't need to preach to the choir. But good things are happening is what it means. All right. Let's hope that it continues this way. I believe that it will. All the momentum is in our favor. It's in crypto's favor right now, from the meme coins all the way up to the utility coins and Bitcoin. Everything is looking really, really good despite any type of dips and corrections. That's natural. Now, listen, I see what's going on. And I hate when this happens. I saw this in the 2021 bull run as well. As soon as things go down, all these media sites start pushing fear. I'm telling you. Because there's big money in fear. I get it. There's a lot of views in fear. People will watch something fear-based before they watch something positive. Unfortunately, that's what I've seen. So as soon as there's a dip correction, the world is falling, crypto is over, the bear market's coming back, the bears are winning. Fear. Listen, that's all nonsense. There's going to be dips. There's going to be corrections. A lot of things oversold, and big companies are going to start to buy at a certain. I said this, didn't I? I said I wouldn't be surprised if they manipulated a little bit more. I said that like 2 videos back, didn't I? Manipulated a little bit more to bring the price back, to bring price a little bit lower, because I felt like that's where they want to buy. They want to buy it a little bit lower, make a little room for not only themselves but their friends. Then once they start buying things up and things start going back up again, the people will rush back in again. The people always wait for someone else to go first. They wait for someone else to try it first. If it's good, then they jump in. Even though a lot of times they jump in, it's too late. They buy at the top, then it goes down, then the people complain. That's just what I've seen. I'm just being honest. We have to be realistic here. We don't have time to waste. So now, let's move on here, okay? We have this next article here. And then after this one, we'll get to a little bit of the Bitcoin news, because Bitcoin is going to pop off. Make no mistake about it. Like I said, not financial advice. Make up your own mind about that. These are my thoughts. All right? So now, this article is titled XRP ETF filings from Bitwise and others await SEC approval. Ripple is optimistic. All right, let's scroll down, find out what they said exactly. It says here, Ripple ETF may soon be introduced as U.S. crypto regulations improve. There's something I wanted to say, but I don't want to give away too much. Ripple President Monica Long shared this outlook during an interview with Bloomberg yesterday, which was Tuesday. Now, I want to insert this little bit here. A lot of these Bitcoin companies, look at what they're doing, folks. Okay? Scour the news. Go to their websites. Look at what they're doing. There's something they're doing that indicates they're ready for U.S. domination, or else they would not be doing what they're doing. If indeed they're going to move very quickly when there's absolute clarity, which seems like it's coming, if they're going to move quickly with unveiling partnerships and deploying these mechanisms that they have, these crypto mechanisms, then that means that prices have the possibility, not a guarantee, possibility to explode at that point, which also means that anyone who's interested in those things needs to be watching closely. If you're a mover and a shaker, if you're not super long term, you're holding long for a long, long time, then you should be watching these things closely, staying on top of everything that they're doing. A lot of what they're doing is not always going to be in the news. You got to go to their website sometimes. I don't know how people want to do that, but sometimes you have to, and pay attention to what they're doing. But I'm going to leave that there. Let's get back to this news here. It says, quote, "I think we will see one very soon," unquote, Long stated. She further explained that the emergence of more crypto spot ETFs in the U.S. is expected this year, with XRP potentially following Bitcoin and Ether. Yeah, once again, I want to reiterate, XRP and Solana, I think, are the next two up to bat. And they have all the potential in the world. I'm talking about insane potential for XRP and Solana. All right. And it's the same for all the bank coins across the board. Some a little bit more than others. But those right there have the possibility of exploding. Long emphasized that regulatory approvals, I said the same thing before. You saw what happened. Now I'm saying the same thing again. I'm telling you, that was nothing. That was, if XRP does what it's supposed to do, if Ripple, SBI, Volante Tech, whoever, there's going to be more. For sure, there's going to be more. If they do what they're supposed to do, then what has already occurred was nothing. And a lot of people know that. But let's keep going. Long emphasized that the regulatory approvals might speed up due to the current political environment in the U.S. In addition to ETF discussion, Long highlighted Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, which will soon be listed. She spoke about that in an article before. So listen, there's a lot of good things happening. It says Bitwise files XRP ETF proposal. I think we heard a little bit about that, maybe like 2 videos back, or etc. So look, things are looking really, really good for XRP right now. Let's get on to this Bitcoin news before it gets too late into the video. We have to keep up what's going on with the big dog. When Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes up. Some of us have some Bitcoin. So then we definitely want to know because of that as well. So here, Bitcoin hourly RSI. This was 11 hours ago. Bitcoin hourly RSI falls to most oversold, quote unquote, oversold since $60,000 Bitcoin price. BTC price weakness has an instant impact on RSI, which crashed to oversold levels not seen since early October. What do you think is going to happen with it being so oversold? Bitcoin traders expect a short-term bounce as one Bitcoin price metric sinks to its lowest levels in several months. Data from Cointelegraph Markets Pro and TradingView reveals deeply, quote, oversold, unquote, conditions on the BTC/USD relative strength index. It says here, Bitcoin tanking 5% in a day has had serious implications for the low time frame RSI. On the hourly chart, RSI fell from local highs of 81.7 on January 6th to 3-month lows of just 16.6 a day later. Such a rapid decline is rare. All right. Taking BTC/USD from overbought to oversold in 24 hours. Unbelievable. Last time the index measured so low, BTC/USD traded at $60,000. RSI measures trend strength and contains 3 key levels for observers: the 30 oversold boundary, the 50 midpoint, and the 70 overbought threshold. When the price crosses these levels, depending on the direction, traders can make inferences about the future of a given uptrend. During bull markets, Bitcoin regularly spends extended periods in overbought territory. All right, so we will wait and we will see. I'm not worried about Bitcoin, not one little bit. It's so bullish, it's unbelievable. I expected it to have a bunch of this volatility. But at some point in the future, I expect it to explode and just shock everyone. But we shall see. So now, let's go here. A little bit more Bitcoin news. This article is titled, U.S. Fed Money Printing Could Spur Bitcoin Rally in Q1 of 2025. This is coming from Arthur Hayes. So let's scroll down here. Bitcoin could benefit from more than $612 billion in new liquidity during the first quarter of 2025, potentially mitigating investor concerns over delayed crypto regulations in the United States. Bitcoin fell nearly 6% in the 24 hours leading up to the 8 a.m. UTC on January the 8th. Falling below the $100,000 mark, which has served as a psychological resistance since December 19th, Cointelegraph Markets Pro data shows. It says, however, the addition of $612 billion in new liquidity to the U.S. Treasury by March 2025 may counterbalance any regulatory disappointment, according to Arthur Hayes, co-founder of BitMEX. So they're also anticipating that money printing is going to accelerate, which is something we talked about years ago. They're going to turn the money printer back on. So, we'll keep an eye on that and just see how everything goes. So now let's go here. Oh, okay. So this is some really, really interesting Bitcoin news. I've been trying my absolute best to keep up with. This article is titled, Nation States Central Banks Expected to Buy Bitcoin in 2025. What do you think that's going to do? That's going to make that price explode, especially as the mainstream media starts really covering that, in mass. Fidelity Digital Assets says, rising inflation, currency debasement, and growing fiscal deficits will push countries to make strategic Bitcoin allocations. This is what the report says. Let's scroll down here. This year is expected to be a game changer in terms of acceptance and adoption of Bitcoin, the world's largest cryptocurrency. Fidelity Digital Assets said in a research report Tuesday. We anticipate, here's a quote, sorry about that, quote, we anticipate more nation states, central banks, sovereign wealth funds, and government treasuries will look to establish strategic positions in Bitcoin. Now, if that's happening with Bitcoin, just think over the years, the coming years, that's going to happen with a lot of these top cryptos, especially as they start gaining power, a lot of them. But let's continue on here. It says, and government treasuries will look to establish strategic positions in Bitcoin, unquote, wrote analyst Matt Hogan. It says, giving macro headwinds such as rising inflation, currency debasement, surging fiscal deficits, not making an allocation to Bitcoin could be more risky than making one. I agree with that. The report said. Then they talk about, I believe it's Cynthia Loomis. Loomis proposed the, quote, Bitcoin Act of 2024, unquote, to the Senate in July. If the bill were enacted, Fidelity said that the, quote, political and financial game theory at play will force other nations to follow suit, unquote. There's a lot of nations already looking into having Bitcoin on, as one of their assets. But yes, if the U.S. were to do that, a lot of them are going to follow in their footsteps. A lot of states, for whatever reason, copy the U.S. I think the world would be better if everybody had their own way of doing things, but that's just the way that it is. I think a lot of nations, the U.S. likes to be the best of the best, and a lot of nations do look at the U.S. as one of the best. So they're like, if it's working for them, it could work for us. And everybody wants success, so they follow in their footsteps. So yeah, that could definitely be possible. So the U.S., China, UK, Ukraine, Bhutan, and El Salvador are currently the largest government holders of Bitcoin, the report said. If it noted that many of these countries have only gained exposure from government seizures. I was just thinking that, like, hold on a second. They took that stuff. They took that from people. But still, they're getting the experience of the benefit of it, right? I mean, it softens you up. It conditions the mind a little bit. Not you up, but like the government people. So we'll wait and we'll see what happens with that. We're going to close out here, folks, with a little bit of gold, silver, and a little bit of platinum if we make it that far. All right. So this article here is titled Gold, Silver, Platinum Forecast. Gold climbs above $2,650 amid rising demand for safe haven assets. Of course, I told people it's going to happen. That's going to be continued. There's so much tension in the world. Gold gains ground. Say that 3 times fast. Gold gains ground despite strong dollar and rising treasury yields. Demand for safe haven gold is rising amid pullback in U.S. equity markets. In case gold stays above $2,650 level, it will get to the test of the nearest resistance level at $2,675 to $2,685. We're just going to do silver. We're not going to make it to platinum today, I don't think. Silver tested new highs as traders focused on strong performance of gold markets. A move above the $30 level opens the way to the test of the 50 MA at $30.86. If silver settles above the 50 MA, it will move towards the resistance level at $31.45 to $31.75. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that. I'm always confident in gold and silver. Silver heavily suppressed. I can't wait to see what it does in the future. Of course, that's long into the future, but we'll keep an eye on that. Platinum, we'll get to it next time. I do have a love for platinum, just not as much as I do for gold and silver. So hope you all are doing well out there. Okay, I really hope so. So also, once again, folks, remember, be careful in the comment sections. I will never ever ask you to contact me. That's not going to happen. I will not ask you to contact me. I will not be having a link or anything for you to click. I'm not on any other platform right now. I'm only right here on the channel. That's it. I'm right here on this YouTube channel. That is it. There's no Telegram, I don't know, all these other different things. So be careful of scammers out there. All right. I'm only right here. That's it. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I put that out there. So now that you have that information, what are you going to do with it? I know what I'm going to do with it. So until next time, everybody, let's get to the money.